Welcome back to the news. All right, it is actually almost patch day, so we have got plenty to talk about. Let's just get stuck in. The big news is that 9.2.5 releases the 31st of May, 1st of June for EU. Now, it brings with it some in-game content. There's a new Blood Elf questline, also a shorter Dark Iron one, and both of them have got pretty damn nice cosmetic rewards. So all Blood Elves are going to get the elusive Emerald Hawkstrider mount, while their Paladins get to use the Blood Knight's Dedication transmog set. So finally, a good Blood Knight mog. Now for the Dark Irons, you do get a rather short quest, but it gets you this extremely awesome looking mount, and then, honestly, one of the best looking weapon sets in the game. Now for other things, there's also the Enigma Crucible PvP arena, though, as we covered in the past, without a switch to change the arena, because they had tech issues. Also, the encrypted story in Tirisfal Glades. What will be there? We do not know. That's kind of exciting. It might be decently major for the lore. And if one or two data mining fragments are anything to go by, there could even be some Tyrande Night Elf stuff, but we're just not sure yet. Now here's the rundown of the other quality of life changes then. So, cross-realm mythic raiding. All Covenant Sanctum achievements are being made account-wide. There's the new Mawwalker and Veilstrider Shadowlands meta achievements that literally several people will try to get. There's High Renown catch-up, and then most endgame activities give 100%, like they just give renown all the time rather than being a chance. Blizz have also buffed the acquisition of Grateful Offerings, then also a 400% boost to Legendary Crafting XP, so there'll be more people crafting higher rank Legos. I presume that will be good for Season 4. Then all Torghast wings will be available each week, so no waiting or doing endless corridors for your Legos. Then also, it's easier to unlock the higher layers. And then they've got higher res hand cursors for larger cursor sizes, and an overhauled player reporting system plus a social contract. Quite a lot then. Now, it's quite funny with the cross-realm thing, actually, because by the time the Horde Hall of Fame filled its 100 places, there were 9 in the Alliance. So that's definitely a pragmatic move, because that Alliance Hall of Fame ain't filling up anytime soon. But I suppose we should probably question why that disparity arose. Now this patch also does technically bring with it what we need for Season 4 of Shadowlands, with its new gearing system, fated raids and all of that. But that stuff's going to launch this summer. So basically all good, bar perhaps a lack of PvP stuff, other updates, and then there are some cross-faction bugs, at least in the PTR, and a potentially major bug. Well, here's the thing. You can get cross-faction in real life with nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming. Today's sponsor. You can get our deal at our link with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, why do you want a VPN? Well, it's simple enough. Do you want to watch content from other regions, maybe on Netflix or Prime? It's easy. You just use Nord's 5,000 plus servers to choose your location and then use the internet as if you are there. Dead handy. You can also fetch some nice regional specific deals. They also do keep you private. Your ISP is not going to know what sites you use, so they can't sell your browsing data to advertisers, nor can they prioritize some of the sites and traffic that you use over others. There's also other services like NordLocker, which is super competitively priced cloud storage, and even NordPass for your passwords. It's all in the app and browser extension that are super easy to use. And of course, you can get our deal with a 30-day money-back guarantee at that link down below, which is nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming. So, thanks then for supporting our team, and let's get into this funky cross-faction bug. The cross-faction system is supposed to give us cross-faction communities and instances, right? And it's all pretty awesome. Now, cross-faction guilds are accidentally a thing in the PTR. Now, this is not going to be the case when it actually hits live servers, but basically Mr. GM got a cross-faction guild working on the test realm. Now, it's 100% not a release-ready thing. This is never a feature that was on the cards for this patch, but the fact that this with a bug kind of worked, I mean, does that give us some sort of hope for cross-faction guilds? Maybe it does. Maybe they could be another category of guild for the players who want to opt into that. Now, there's some other bugs too. There's things that happen if you queue up for Battle for Lordaeron, Island Expeditions, Warfront, and Time Walking, but we don't know if those bugs are going to hit the live version. Plus, I'd say they're also far less critical than the problem of just letting people play the current content with their friends, which, when this patch comes out, you'll be able to do. I may have made it seem like we know everything there is to know about this new patch. No, because out of the 13 pages of files that had been updated or added for the most recent build, which is the release candidate build, 11 pages, at least per WoW.tools, are encrypted. And that gets us thinking. Now, the data points to them relating to character appearances, transmog sets, mounts, pets, and toys. And many of these things actually use the same encryption key that we've seen for items that appear to be pre-order bonuses. So, just what could we be getting? Well, some people think it's a Darkfall and allied race, essentially giving us, more than just Dark Rangers, right? Like actual undead elves, undead night elves for Alliance, undead blood elves for Horde. And if so, then perhaps these could be their heritage armor items, maybe some other things like a mount. It's kind of impossible to say. We just know that Blizzard are keeping a whole bunch of files under wraps. A lot of that makes sense because we already knew about the Tirisfal Glades storyline, but I mean, who knows with this? One of the leaks that came out just before Dragonflight did mention a Allied Race pre-order bonuses, and as I covered in the last WoW News video, Darkfallen really does make the most sense. It seems like the one that is the most possible to do right now. So, who knows? I'm not saying it's going to be that, but it certainly would be cool if it was that. Now, there is another funky thing that appeared in the PTR. So, this was one of the only new unencrypted files in the most recent PTR build. It's a Drakthir Evoker spell. What? Like, why is this here? Right, is it a data fragment? Is it a mistake? Is it playable Drakthir as a pre-order bonus? Look, it's impossible to say, but I am leaning towards it just being a simple mistake. I know a bunch of people have got talking about this, but basically, Drakthir, we already know they're going to be playable before Dragonflight launches as a part of the pre-expansion event, just like what they did with Demon Hunters. Now, those always take place, the pre-expansion events, on the new expansion's game version. So it'll take place in 10.0, not 9.2.5. Unless they're going to try, I suppose, to maybe do the pre-expansion event on 9.2.5, but that would be a big break from the way they've handled things in the past. So this Evoker spell being here, honestly, it's probably just a mistake. I would not read into it too much. But we do have something quite curious and a bit more concrete. This is fun. An MMO champion poster called WoW Refugee noticed 5 Dark Ranger armor icons in 9.2.5, and they're the same as the Dark Ranger NPC set from Darkshore in 8.1. But the thing that is new is they have a player condition ID that's linked to the Hunter class. So a conclusion you could draw then is that Hunters might actually get a Dark Ranger armor set. Now, as I said, the actual set has existed since 8.1. The only new thing is this player condition ID. So it's potentially great news for Hunters, but as of now, it is unconfirmed. But that said, the Tirisfal questline is going to deal with the undead. Kalia is almost certainly going to be involved in that questline. Now, Kalia, one of the recent things she did was help some of the Night Elf Dark Rangers basically come to terms with what the hell had happened to them. And another funny thing, so there was a bug that was in the game for a very long time that meant that Delaran, her eyes appeared the wrong color. They're supposed to be red because that's just what you look like, as an undead elf or whatever. But that bug has actually been fixed. So it's not that they changed her eyes to red in the PTR build and that equals Dark Rangers. It is that there was a bug with her eye color and that bug has been fixed. But if they're only getting around to fixing that bug now, does that mean Dark Rangers? Who knows? Look, at the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if they added this Dark Ranger set for players to get, because ultimately, they're already doing some just fun little armor things in this patch anyway, like with the Blood Knight one, that's only for Paladins in the Blood Elf questline. Okay, next up, Blizzard have tackled, once again, add-ons. Computational add-ons and the whole arms race has been quite the topic, and this time they've talked about it in a response to the Community Council. Now, the Community Council post was more about accessibility. A decent example is the accessibility issues that happened with Mechatork, like that fight as an example. Now, I'm going to cut to the chase with this. So Blizzard basically said that complex and punishing mechanics like the Loom of Fate are designed to create a fantasy. They're not made to be complex to outsmart any add-ons. They did kind of muse with the idea of, would the Loom of Fate thing felt a little bit better if it maybe wasn't so punishing or things like that. But fundamentally, add-ons, they say, did not factor in that mechanic. But they did say that after Mechatork, they really learned the importance of playtesting mechanics to be completed without voice or add-ons. But they also did acknowledge that it's fine, that could be the case. But it's still, like with the Among Us mechanic on Dreadlords, it still can be way more efficient to just use an add-on. They didn't have a solution to that, it's just they acknowledged it's a thing. But finally, what Blizzard got to is, I think, the really exciting bit. They say that they agree that a ping system would be a brilliant addition to the game, and that it's something they think is worth exploring in the future. So, the criticism here is that this is stuff that's just passed to the future, right? But also I understand they're making Dragonflight, they kind of have to prioritize that. Now, the idea of a ping system in World of Warcraft, I think, is just absolutely awesome. Just great. One of the best ping systems in video games is from Apex Legends, the Battle Royale game. And it's just great. Like, I've been used to using ping systems in MOBAs, right? Like Smite and LoL. But the Apex, or even like PUBG, but the Apex one was just a cut above the rest. It was so easy to use, so effective, that, the way sometimes you're just playing a game and you're really focusing on the mechanics, and it would almost feel like a break in your concentration to hit push to talk and then do some talking. Well, the ping system in Apex is so good that you don't feel like you need to talk because you can just use the ping system. Now, as for what a ping system is, there's many different ways of doing it. An example could be maybe you hit the V key and then you hit like a numerical key, and that will just, send a command or like a ping, right? That could be informational to people. That's one way of doing it. There's really many different ways of doing ping systems across gaming. It's actually a really interesting topic. But something like that in WoW, imagine what we have with raid markers, but way souped up with way more functionality and an actually just nice UI to use all of that doesn't require loads of like add-ons and macros or things like that. So it's not something they're doing right now, but that they're looking into it, I think is really exciting and could just be great for overall raid design. As for in-game news then, well, it's Wrathtime Walking Week and the Temple of Hot Mogu Brawl. Not much else to report, but Blizzard do have a new game launch June 2nd, Diablo Immortal. And look, I'm certainly curious for this one, especially because it's also coming out on PC that day. Okay, technically it's an open beta for PC, but essentially this game does not seem to be a quick mobile cash-in. I mean, they launched, or they announced it even, in 2018. And then they spent a humongous amount of time testing it and developing it, right? Like, it's been, 3.5 years since that announcement? And I have to imagine they did quite a lot of development work before they announced it. So this game has had a serious amount of time and effort put into it. And apparently, it's actually the largest Diablo game released to date. So that means that in terms of, because of course it's a Diablo game, it has acts, the usual you'd expect. Apparently it's larger than Diablo 3 then. And also they're almost treating it as a pseudo-MMO. And that is kind of interesting. So look, if it plays good in PC, and it's a good game, then it's a good game that you can play in PC. And that's a good thing, and I think it could do really well for Blizzard, especially for their monthly active users, which of course have very much been declining. I mean, this is 30 million pre-registrations, and that is even before the PC announcement. This could double Blizzard's MAUs overnight, which is kind of wild to think about. Of course, for me though, the key thing is monetization. I do expect to be able to pay to maybe progress a bit faster, but I don't expect overt pay to win. But that said, for many people, especially in a game like this, progressing faster kind of is pay to win. So there's going to be a whole debate there. We basically just need to wait and see. Actually know what the store is like. There is going to be a battle pass, but it's just what will the other purchases be? That'll be the big question. There are things that we can learn from the past beta, but I just want to wait and see until it actually ships. But anyway, I know for sure I'm going to try it out to at least see. Perhaps it's just morbid curiosity. Next thing then, just a quickie on the general state of affairs. Right, what's our next step for WoW? I think quite obviously it's the Dragonflight beta. Now the thing there is we have not seen the numerous talent blogs that Blizzard staff said they wanted to do. So I think that still is a little while off, but it's going to have to spin up decently soon. Really the big question is what will come first, Wrath beta or Dragonflight? Honestly, it could go either way. I mean, a WoW beta, or well, alpha through beta can be like 6 or 7 months, and if this game is going to come out in Q3, or not Q3, Q1 of 2023, then I suppose they do have a little bit of leeway. A lot of the thinking that, oh, what if they do an alpha really soon? That was kind of predicated on a best case scenario where Dragonflight comes out the same time in 2022 that Shadowlands did in 2020. But I think most of us are now expecting Q1 2023. So there's a little bit of leeway there. Then also, I did see some recent numbers that actually show that Classic is doing pretty well. Classic TBC, that is, but the Season of Mastery is quiet. Now, the next big thing there will be Classic Wrath. I'm expecting that in September. I think it's going to be pretty big in terms of its impact for the Warcraft product. I know I'll be playing it. And then 9.2.5 plus Season 4, I think especially Season 4, that'll do a pretty good job for modern WoW. So it's undoubtedly a quiet time, but I think they are getting the most that they can out of it. Finally then, what's been going on here this week? Well, over in Patreon for the loot, it is Mage Month. It's only a few days to get on the list for the loot there, so you can check that out if you want. Content-wise then, well, we've got a video highlighting just how badly the Age of Mortals went for the state of affairs in Azeroth, and then also on how Blizzard will move Warcraft past Shadowlands. So what things will they drop? What things will they keep? Will the funky nature of Shadowlands' ending with Soval sort of loom large over the setting, or can we just sort of move on? Over in the gaming channel then, of course, there's my Star Wars Old Republic endgame experience and general thoughts on the game now that I've hit max level. There's also Matt's dive into what makes FF14 jobs just be so damn fun. And then for the news channel, well, we found the future of game controllers. It's kind of wild. Basically, a new tech solution that means zero joystick drift ever and way more accuracy. Kind of crazy. Then there's Microsoft's public owning of Kotaku, which was quite funny to see. How Electronic Arts actually seems to want to get acquired. The funky armor reforger situation that actually does have me pretty damn excited for what the modding scene's going to do. A look into Valve's lawsuit, and then V-Rising. Yeah, we just recorded a video on that. V-Rising, if you haven't heard of it, it's basically the game that is just taking Steam by storm right now. And I think for a pretty damn good reason. And it's just nice to see the devs of Battlerite just get a great win. So good news for them. All right, and that really is it for today's show. Of course, if you want to support today's sponsor and the channel and get yourself a brilliant VPN, you can check out Nord with the link down below. Other than that, just thanks for hanging around. Thanks for watching. There's plenty of other content on the channels for you to see after this. And with that said, I'll see you next time.